If you like this video, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell icon to get the latest updates.
Question: Your purchasing department wants to monitor overdue purchase orders. What are the prerequisites for issuing delivery reminders for a purchase order? Note: there are 3 correct answers to this question. Option 1, maintain purchasing value keys in the purchase order item. Option 2, maintain reminder periods in the purchase order item. Option 3, maintain a confirmation control key in the supplier master. Option 4, set message determination in customizing and maintain message records. Option 5, output the purchase order. Question: What do you need to do if you want MRP Live to create planned orders for externally procured materials? Option 1, implement BADLPPH_MRP_sourcing_BADI equals SOS_det_adjust. Option 2, set the MRP indicator in the source list of the material to not relevant for planning. Option 3, set the appropriate plant-specific material status. Option 4, change the procurement type of the material. Question: Which SAP Fiori design principle has the goal of having one user, one use case, and up to 3 screens for each application? Option 1, simple. Option 2, responsive. Option 3, role-based. Option 4, instant value. Question: In your company, the invoice verification clerks are working with the Release Blocked Invoices app. For which kind of blocked invoices can they use the automatic release function? Option 1, invoices blocked stochastically. Option 2, invoices blocked due to variances. Option 3, invoices blocked because of an excessive amount. Option 4, invoices blocked manually. Question: You want to procure material from another plant. What purchasing instrument would you use? Option 1, warehouse transfer order. Option 2, warehouse transfer request. Option 3, standard purchase order. Option 4, stock transport order. Question: At what level do you maintain the purchasing group in the material master? Option 1, company code. Option 2, plant. Option 3, purchasing organization. Option 4, client. Question: What controls which item categories you are allowed to use when creating new items in a purchasing document? Option 1, document category. Option 2, user role. Option 3, document type. Option 4, account assignment category. Question: What are some options when working with Schedule A1G agreements? Note: there are 3 correct answers to this question. Option 1, item category M, material unknown, can be used in a scheduling agreement. Option 2, a scheduling agreement item is always plant specific. Option 3, a scheduling agreement can be used for a consignment process. Option 4, scheduling agreement delivery schedule lines can only be created manually. Option 5, a material master record is optional in a scheduling agreement item. Question: Your purchasing department works with purchasing info records. You create a purchase order. Which logic does the system use to propose a valid price that is stored in the info record? Note, there are two correct answers to this question. Option 1: if a valid plant-specific price exists, this is proposed when a purchase order is created for the corresponding plant. Option 2: the system always proposes the price from the last purchase order whose number was copied into the info record. Option 3: if there are no valid conditions maintained in the info record, the system can propose the price from the last purchase order. Option 4: the system always proposes the price from the purchasing organization level, if available. Question: you intend to procure low-value material over a period of time up to a specific amount. What type of purchasing document is best suited for this purpose? Option 1: release purchase order. Option 2: blanket purchase order. Option 3: service purchase order. Option 4: standard purchase order. Question: which of the following elements can be generated by material requirements planning, MRP? Note, there are three correct answers to this question. Option 1: production order. Option 2: planned order. Option 3: purchase requisition. Option 4: purchase order. Option 5: delivery schedule line. Question: which of the following are possible personalizations of the SAP Fiori Launchpad? Note, there are two correct answers to this question. Option 1: selection of SAP Fiori version. Option 2: settings for language and region. Option 3: selection of tile size. Option 4: selection of the design theme. Question: which of the following are prerequisites for flexible workflows for purchase order approval? Note, there are three correct answers to this question. Option 1: define the recipients for the flexible workflow in the Manage Workflows for Purchase Orders SAP Fiori app. Option 2: create a class with flexible workflow characteristics for purchase orders. Option 3: set up the preconditions for the flexible workflow in the Manage Workflows for Purchase Orders SAP Fiori app. Option 4: deactivate the classic release procedure for purchase orders in customizing. Option 5: activate the flexible workflow for purchase orders in customizing. Question: at which of the following organizational levels must you maintain a business partner master record for a supplier? Note, there are three correct answers to this question. Option 1: purchasing group. Option 2: purchasing organization. Option 3: plant. Option 4: company code. Option 5: client. Question: in your project you need to make sure that consignment purchase orders utilize a different number range than other purchase orders. What must you do? Option 1: customize a new item category for this purpose and deactivate the standard one. Option 2: customize a new document type and assign the item category for consignment only to this type. Option 3. Customize a new document type and assign only consignment vendors to it. Option 4. Customize a new item category for this purpose and assign a new number range to it. Question: in a multinational corporation there could be several company codes with several purchasing organizations. How can you minimize the effort for price condition maintenance within such a group? Option 1. Use a reference purchasing organization. Option 2. Use a reference purchasing group. Option 3. Use a reference company code. Option 4. Use a reference info record. Question: which organizational assignments mandatory for external procurement? Option 1. Reference purchasing organization, purchasing organization. Option 2. Plant, purchasing group. Option 3. Company code, purchasing organization. Option 4. Plant, purchasing organization. Question: what are some available SAP Smart Business Key Performance Indicators, KPLS, for contracts? Note: there are 3 correct answers to this question. Option 1. Contract leakage. Option 2. Conditions by contract. Option 3. Contract release orders. Option 4. Unused contracts. Option 5. Value contract consumption. Question: you want to use automatic conversion of purchase requisitions into purchase orders for some raw materials. What are the prerequisites? Note: there are 3 correct answers to this question. Option 1. A source of supply containing valid conditions is assigned to the purchase requisition. Option 2. The automatic purchase order indicator is set in the purchasing data of the business partner master record. Option 3. A contract with plant-specific conditions exists for the material and the vendor. Option 4. The automatic purchase order indicator is set in the plant-specific purchasing data of the material master record. Option 5. A plant-specific source list entry exists for the material. Question: in which of the following business transactions will you get an error message if you have not set up automatic account determination? Note: there are 3 correct answers to this question. Option 1. Goods receipt of valuated material. Option 2. Material price changes. Option 3. Goods issue of valuated material. Option 4. Goods receipt of consignment stock. Option 5. Stock transfer from a storage location to another storage location. Question: you have several valid purchasing info records for one specific material available in your system. Which info record will the system assign when you manually create a purchase requisition? Option 1. The system will choose the info record with the lowest price. Option 2. The system will show all valid records in a list and the user needs to manually select one. Option 3, the system will choose the most recent info record. Option 4, the system will choose the info record from the last purchase order. Question: your company uses the classic release procedure for purchase orders. Which of the following activities can you perform when you release a purchase order? Note, there are two correct answers to this question. Option 1, change the value of the purchase order item. Option 2, reverse an already implemented release or rejection. Option 3, enter the release code assigned to your user. Option 4, delete the purchase order completely. Question: which of the following business partner roles are required to execute a procurement process? Note, there are two correct answers to this question. Option 1, contact person on purchasing organization level. Option 2, FL vendor on company code level. Option 3, supplier on purchasing group level. Option 4, supplier on purchasing organization level. Question: in the standard system, a controllable system message is shown when a user creates a purchase order with a delivery date in the past. What must you configure to allow such purchase orders to only be issued by authorized users? Option 1, copy the system message to a new version, set it as an error message, and assign the version with user parameter MSV to the authorized users. Option 2, copy the system message to a new version, set it as an error message, and assign the version with user parameter MSV to non-authorized users. Option 3, copy the system message to a new version, set it as a warning message, and assign the version with user parameter MSV to the non-authorized users. Option 4, copy the system message to a new version, set it as a warning message, and assign the version with user parameter MSV to the authorized users. Question: what are some functions supported by the Create Supplier Invoice SAP Fiori app? Note, there are three correct answers to this question. Option 1, start the automatic payment run. Option 2, process evaluated receipt settlement, ERS. Option 3, enter unplanned delivery costs. Option 4, display the purchase order history. Option 5, create an invoice for multiple purchase order references. Question: you have to post scrap expenses to a special account. Based on which characteristics can you influence the behavior of the account determination? Note, there are two correct answers to this question. Option 1, plant. Option 2, movement type. Option 3, storage location. Option 4, stock type. Question: what are some key features of the SAP Smart Business Key Performance Indicators, KPLS, tiles used for purchasing analytics? Note, there are two correct answers to this question. Option 1, chart snippets on a tile are updated after each start of the evaluation. Option 2, numbers on the tiles can have different colors to represent different thresholds of alert. Option 3, each tile represents a set of actionable cards. Option 4, the tiles show key information that is updated in real time. Question: how does the system derive the company code when you post a goods movement in a plant? Option 1, a plant can occur several times in a client, but can only belong to one company code. Option 2, the company code is derived from your default settings. Option 3, a plant is unique in a client, and can only belong to one company code. Option 4, each plant is assigned to a purchasing organization, which itself belongs to one company code. Question: how can you differentiate stock quantities within a plant in inventory management? Option 1, shipping points. Option 2, bin locations. Option 3, storage locations. Option 4, storage area. Question: with which field do you control the creation of a scheduling agreement with release documentation? Option 1, item category. Option 2, document type. Option 3, release creation profile. Option 4, JIT indicator. Question: what are some key features of the goods receipt-based, GR-based, invoice verification? Note, there are 3 correct answers to this question. Option 1, the system generates an invoice item for each purchase order item. Option 2, as a prerequisite, the indicator for GR-based invoice verification is set in the purchase order item. Option 3, each invoice item is assigned to a goods receipt item. Option 4, after posting, you can reassign invoices from one goods receipt to another. Option 5, a goods receipt must be posted prior to the invoice. Question: your project uses product costing and production planning functionality. Which valuation area must be used? Option 1, company code. Option 2, controlling area. Option 3, plant. Option 4, business area. Question: what can you control with a document type in purchasing? Note, there are 3 correct answers to this question. Option 1, linkage to material groups. Option 2, number range. Option 3, allowed account assignment categories. Option 4, linkage of document types. Option 5, allowed item categories. Question: which of the following activities is a prerequisite to enable partner roles determination in purchasing documents? Option 1, assign a partner schema to relevant purchasing document types. Option 2, assign a partner schema to relevant arrangement types. Option 3, assign a partner role to relevant purchasing document types. Option 4, assign a partner schema to relevant account groups. Question: goods from a supplier arrive at your warehouse. However, you do not want these goods to be part of your inventory yet. What is the procedure for recording the conditional goods receipt, GR? Option 1: make a note in the purchase order and wait until the conditions for accepting the delivery are met. Option 2: select the block stock type when posting the goods receipt. Option 3: post a goods receipt to non-valuated GR block stock. Option 4: post a goods receipt to valuated GR block stock. Question: you are creating a blanket purchase order using IT 11 category B. Which tab becomes visible on the purchase order in this process? Option 1: delivery. Option 2: item. Option 3: confirmations. Option 4: limits. Question: how can you personalize the Procurement Overview app? Note: there are 3 correct answers to this question. Option 1: hide an existing card. Option 2: filter the content of the cards. Option 3: change the set of cards. Option 4: change the position of the cards. Option 5: extend the set with a new card. Question: you test the various options that SAP S4HANA offers for stock transfers between 2 different plants within the same company code. Which special features do stock transport orders have? Note: there are 2 correct answers to this question. Option 1: if necessary, you can post the goods receipt to block stock in the receiving plant. Option 2: the material on the road is part of the valuated stock of the shipping plant. Option 3: the material on the road is managed in the stock in transit of the receiving plant. Option 4: you can optionally post the goods issue from inspection stock in the supplying plant. Question: your purchasing organization has entered into a contractual agreement with the supplier to purchase 10,000 units of a particular material. You have stored this agreement as a quantity contract. How can you prevent a release order in excess of the target quantity? Option 1: if the order quantity exceeds the target quantity, a warning message is issued. You can set this as an error message in customizing to prevent release. Option 2: you must implement a BADL to check the target quantity in the contract release order and prevent release if the quantity exceeds it. Option 3: the system prevents exceeding the target quantity in a release order. No additional action is required from you. Option 4: if the order quantity exceeds the target quantity, a dialog box opens. You can use a special authorization to control whether the user may order the excess quantity. Question: which lot sizing procedures are suitable for reorder point planning? Note: there are 3 correct answers to this question. Option 1: fixed order quantity. Option 2: monthly lot size. Option 3: replenish to maximum stock level. Option 4: lot for lot order quantity. Option 5: daily lot size. Question, you procure some materials exclusively by consign 11 ent. You want material requirements planning, MRP, to create consignment purchase requisitions assigned to a vendor, instead of normal purchase requisitions for these materials. What must you do for each of these materials? Note, there are two correct answers to this question. Option 1, set a special procurement key/type for consignment in the material master record. Option 2, set a special MRP group for consignment in the material master record. Option 3, create at least one source of supply for consignment. Option 4, maintain a default storage location for external procurement in the material master record. Question, your company uses the classic release procedure for purchasing documents. For which configuration object must approvers have the appropriate authorization? Option 1, release code. Option 2, release group. Option 3, release strategy. Option 4, release indicator. Question, how does SAP Fiori achieve the role-based design principle? Note, there are two correct answers to this question. Option 1, end users get all the information and functions they need for their daily work, but nothing more. Option 2, navigation, personalization, and application configuration are limited to ensure consistency across user roles. Option 3, single complex transactions are decomposed into several discrete apps suited to the user role. Option 4, the application interface adapts to the size and device used by the user. Question, you want to prevent a specific material from being ordered from a specific vendor. What must you do? Option 1, create a blocking entry in the purchasing info record. Option 2, create a blocking entry in the vendor master data. Option 3, create a quota arrangement entry with zero quantity. Option 4, create an entry in the source list with a blocking indicator. Question, which of the following tasks does the system perform during reorder point planning? Note, there are three correct answers to this question. Option 1, carry out a net requirement calculation for every material included in the planning run. Option 2, carry out a lot size calculation for every material with net requirements. Option 3, recalculate the replenishment lead time for materials with automatic reorder point planning. Option 4, perform backward scheduling to determine the availability dates of purchase requisitions. Option 5, check, in the planning file entries, whether a material must be included in the planning run. Question, you are receiving deliveries for evaluated material. Which documents are created when you post a goods receipt? Note, there are two correct answers to this question. Option 1 inbound delivery. Option 2 invoice document. Option 3 account NG document. Option 4 material document. Question: your project requires an individual purchasing organization for each plant in your company code. What should you take into consideration when setting up such an organizational structure? Note, there are two correct answers to this question. Option 1 each purchasing organization has its own vendor master data. Option 2 each purchasing organization has its own info records. Option 3 each purchasing organization has its own material master data. Option 4 each purchasing organization has its own purchasing groups. Question: which of the following occurs when you park a supplier invoice related to a purchase order? Note, there are two correct answers to this question. Option 1 an FL invoice is posted and blocked for payment. Option 2 G/L accounts are updated. Option 3 the purchase order history is updated. Option 4 an invoice document is created. Question: you have ordered a stock material that is valuated with a standard price. The price in the purchase order, PO, is higher than the standard price of the material. Which accounts are updated at goods receipt? Note, there are three correct answers to this question. Option 1 GR/IR. Option 2 material consumption. Option 3 stock. Option 4 inventory differences. Option 5 price differences. Question: which of the following actions can an end user perform with filtered report results in an SAP Fiori app? Note, there are three correct answers to this question. Option 1 save as a CDs view. Option 2 send via email. Option 3 save as a new tile on the SAP Fiori Launchpad. Option 4 schedule as a background job. Option 5 share on SAP Jam. Question: what information can the analytical purchasing group activity SAP Fiori app provide? Note, there are two correct answers to this question. Option 1 the number of contracts created by a purchasing group since the beginning of the current year. Option 2 the number of inspection lots per purchasing group and month for the current year. Option 3 the number of purchase orders created by a user since the beginning of the current year. Option 4 the net purchased value per purchasing group and month for the current year. Question: Your MRP planning run detects a shortage of 2,000 pieces of a certain material for which a quota arrangement is ACT-VE. Each of your two vendors can supply only 1,000 pieces at once. What must you maintain to get a procurement proposal for 1,000 pieces for each supplier? Note, there are two correct answers to this question. Option 1, set a maximum quota quantity in the quota item. Option 2, assign a rounding profile in the material master record. Option 3, assign the indicator for the splitting quota to the used lot sizing procedure. Option 4, set a maximum lot size in the quota item and activate the one's indicator checkbox. Question: you would like to create purchasing info records for consumable materials without material master records. How must you proceed? Option 1, you specify a special info category. Option 2, you specify the relationship between a material group and a supplier. Option 3, you specify the relationship between a material type and a supplier. Option 4, you must first create material master records. Question: you are post-ng a goods receipt without a corresponding purchase order, PO, in the system. Which of the following are prerequisites for automatic generation of the PAT at the time of goods receipt? Note, there are two correct answers to this question. Option 1, a central purchasing organization is assigned to the plant in customizing. Option 2, the delivered material is evaluated stock material. Option 3, the goods receipt to be posted is intended for consumption. Option 4, automatic purchase order generation is activated for the movement type in customizing. Question: a supplier delivers material to your warehouse, however, you are only obliged to pay the supplier once you have withdrawn the stock. Which procurement process would you implement for this purpose? Option 1, standard. Option 2, third party. Option 3, stock transfer. Option 4, consignment. Question: certain materials for external procurement are no longer valid. What mechanism can you use to prevent the purge 3SE of those materials? Option 1, set procurement type to in-house. Option 2, set the material inactive. Option 3, set a material status. Option 4, set a vendor block. Question: what can you control with the confirmation control key? Note, there are two correct answers to this question. Option 1, whether a confirmation is a prerequisite for a goods receipt. Option 2, the confirmation sequence. Option 3, the document type for inbound deliveries. Option 4, default reminder levels. Question: for which of the following scenarios could you implement a stock determination strategy for a material in inventory management? Note, there are three correct answers to this question. Option 1, you have both quality inspection stock and unrestricted use stock for the material. You want to withdraw unrestricted use stock first. Option 2, your material is stored in different plants. You want to withdraw from the plant with the lowest stock first. Option 3, you use split valuation to separate internally produced and externally procured quantities. Internally produced quantities should be withdrawn first. Option 4. Your material is stored at various storage locations in your plant. You want to withdraw from the storage location with the highest stock first. Option 5. You have both vendor consignment stock and own stock for the material. You want to withdraw your own stock first. Question: you have several company codes and plants in your project. You are setting the plant as valuation area. How can you minimize the effort involved in account determination? Option 1. You can group plants assigned to the same chart of accounts by using the valuation grouping code. Option 2. You can group plants assigned to the same chart of accounts by using the account grouping code. Option 3. You can group plants assigned to different charts of accounts by using the account grouping code. Option 4. You can group plants assigned to different charts of accounts by using the valuation grouping code. Question: which options are available for the automatic posting of unplanned delivery costs when creating an invoice with purchase order reference? Note: there are two correct answers to this question. Option 1. The costs are posted to a separate account, which is defined in the account determination table. Option 2. The costs are posted automatically in a separate invoice. Option 3. The costs are distributed among the invoice items. Option 4. The system determines a freight clearing account for posting the cost. Question: which of the following prerequisites must be met for the system to check the shelf life of materials at goods received? Note: there are three correct answers to this question. Option 1. The material is managed in batches in the plant. Option 2. The purchase order item contains the remaining shelf life. Option 3. The shelf life expiration date check is activated for the material type in customizing. Option 4. The shelf life expiration date check is activated for the movement type in customizing. Option 5. The shelf life expiration date check is activated for the plant in customizing. Question: you want to implement split valuation functional type. What must you do? Note: there are two correct answers to this question. Option 1. Customize valuation categories and valuation types. Option 2. Create additional material master accounting data. Option 3. Add valuation types to all open purchase order items. Option 4. Assign valuation types to stock types. Question: which of the following parameters should you consider when calculating the reorder point for a material? Note: there are three correct answers to this question. Option 1. Lot sizing procedure. Option 2. Safety stock. Option 3. Expected daily requirements. Option 4. Checking group for availability check. Option 5. Replenishment lead time. Question: your purchasing department is working with scheduling agreements. What can you do using release creation profiles? Note: there are three correct answers to this question. Option 1. You can enter a release creation profile in the vendor master data. Option 2. You can create plant-specific release creation profiles in customizing. Option 3, you can control the periodicity of release creation using release creation profiles. Option 4, you can assign a specific confirmation control key to a release creation profile. Option 5, you can enter a release creation profile in the material master data. Question: in your company, invoice verification clerks post a cash discount amount using the posting net method. How do they trigger the posting method? Option 1, by changing the payment terms. Option 2, by choosing an appropriate payment method. Option 3, by using an appropriate document type. Option 4, by creating an extra invoice item for the cash discount amount. Question: you want to manually post an initial entry of stock for a material in SAP S4HANA. You should be able to enter both a quantity and an amount. How do you proceed? Note, there are two correct answers to this question. Option 1, in the SAP GUI, use Transact on MIGO. Option 2, on the SAP Fiori Launchpad, use the Post Goods Movements app. Option 3, on the SAP Fiori Launchpad, use the Post Goods Receipt Without Reference app. Option 4, on the SAP Fiori Launchpad, use the Stock Single Material app. Question: your company will procure finished goods from a supplier. The supplier will manufacture the product using components shipped from your company. Which process would you use for this scenario? Option 1, third-party procurement. Option 2, standard procurement. Option 3, external processing. Option 4, subcontracting. Question: you are creating a purchase order for procurement of a material. Which of the following fields should you use to control the procurement process? Option 1, account assignment. Option 2, material type. Option 3, item category. Option 4, valuation class. Question: which of the following are features of the delivery completed indicator in a purchase order, PO, item? Note, there are two correct answers to this question. Option 1, if you set the indicator, no further goods receipt may be posted for the PO item. Option 2, the indicator is always set automatically if the quantity received is within the under-delivery tolerance. Option 3, you can set the indicator manually when entering a goods receipt for your PO item. Option 4, if you set the indicator, the PO item is no longer relevant for material requirements planning. Question: when using a classic release procedure, for which did the following documents must you use classification? Note, there are two correct answers to this question. Option 1, requests for quotation. Option 2, purchase requisitions. Option 3, JIT delivery schedules. Option 4, purchase orders. Question: An incoming invoice shows a variance when compared to the expected quantity or amount. How can you create this invoice? Note, there are two correct answers to this question. Option 1: enter the actual invoice values. You must then park the invoice because posting is not allowed. Option 2: enter the actual invoice values and post. The system creates an invoice with the actual values and possibly blocks it for payment. Option 3: enter the actual invoice values, use the reduction function, and post. The system creates an invoice with the reduced values. Option 4: enter the actual invoice values, use the reduction function, and post. The system creates a credit memo in addition to the actual invoice. Question: Supplier A should automatically be proposed as primary source for a specific material. What options do you have? Note, there are two correct answers to this question. Option 1: use the source list and mark the vendor as fixed. Option 2: use the regular supplier indicator in the material master record. Option 3: use the regular supplier indicator in the info record. Option 4: set the regular supplier indicator in the business partner master record. Question: you send newly created purchase orders to a supplier via email, whereas quantity or price changes are to be transmitted by fax. What prerequisites must be met? Note, there are three correct answers to this question. Option 1: you use different message types for the print operations new and change. Option 2: the exclusive indicator is flagged in the access sequence. Option 3: the condition record contains the price and quantity fields. Option 4: the new message determination process for change messages indicator is flagged in customizing. Option 5: the price and quantity fields are relevant for printout changes. Question: you regularly purchase non-stock materials. What must you set up to allow the system to automatically propose specific accounts? Option 1: assign valuation classes to the account assignment categories. Option 2: assign valuation classes to the material groups. Option 3: assign transact on keys to the account assignment categories. Option 4: assign transaction keys to the material groups. Question: you want to set up an account determination that groups several material types on the same accounts. What must you do? Option 1: assign the same account modification to the material types. Option 2: assign the same valuation grouping code to the material types. Option 3: assign the same account category reference to the material types. Option 4: assign the same valuation class to the material types. Question: in your project, pricing conditions in purchase orders should only be visible to certain users. What must you configure and assign? Option 1: user parameter EVO. Option 2: field select on key for the activity category. Option 3: user parameter EFB. Option 4, field select on key for the transact on. Question: what is the effect of setting the freeze book inventory indicator in a physical inventory document header? Option 1, the system blocks all inventory management units of the physical inventory document for procurement. Option 2, the system blocks all inventory management units of the physical inventory document for goods movements. Option 3, the book inventory is determined and fixed in the physical inventory document at the beginning of the count. Option 4, the book inventory is determined and fixed in the physical inventory document at the time of the difference posting. Question: you are entering a supplier invoice for a purchase order that has been delivered. What information can you use as a reference to post the invoice? Note: there are 3 correct answers to this question. Option 1, bill of lading number. Option 2, purchase requisition number. Option 3, delivery note number. Option 4, purchase order number. Option 5, sales order number. Question: you want to collectively convert assigned purchase requisitions into purchase orders. What functions can you use? Note: there are 3 correct answers to this question. Option 1, use the source list. Option 2, run the automatic generation of purchase orders. Option 3, use the assignment list. Option 4, run material requirements planning, MRP. Option 5, use the document overview in the Create Purchase Order app, Me21N. Question: in which situation can you have open items in the GR/IR clearing account? Option 1, price differences between purchase order and invoice receipt for a purchase order item. Option 2, price differences at invoice receipt for an order item, only if the material is valuated at the standard price. Option 3, price differences at invoice receipt for an order item, only if the material is valuated at the moving average price. Option 4, quantity differences between goods receipts and invoice receipts for a purchase order item.
Thank you for attending the session. I hope you all enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Also, feel free to ask your questions in the comment section below, and we will reply to them at the earliest.